Imagine you are a deer. You have lived your entire life in a forest. You know every sound, every smell, every shadow that moves between the trees. You know which sounds mean danger and which sounds mean nothing. You have a complete map of your world. And then one day, something appears that is not on the map. It stands upright on two legs, it has no fur, it has no claws, it makes strange sounds from its face. It smells unlike anything you have encountered before. It is not a wolf, it is not a bear, it does not fit into any category your brain was built to process. You freeze. And in that moment, before fear, before flight, before any decision at all, there is something else. Pure unfiltered confusion. That moment, that first encounter between a wild animal and a human, is one of the most fascinating events in nature. And what happens inside the animal's brain during those first few seconds reveals something extraordinary about how animals understand the world. Before we get into what animals think, we need to understand how an animal brain categorizes the world. Animals do not experience reality the way we do. They do not see a forest and think about its beauty. They see a forest as a system of threats and opportunities. Every creature they encounter gets sorted into one of a few basic categories: predator, prey, competitor, neutral. These categories are built over thousands of generations. They are not learned from scratch by each animal, they are inherited as instinct. A deer is born knowing to fear wolves. A mouse is born knowing to fear hawks. These animals have never met a wolf or a hawk personally, but evolution has written the fear directly into their nervous systems. And then a human appears. A human does not fit neatly into any of these categories. We are the wrong shape for a predator. We move too slowly for most threats. We smell strange and behave unpredictably. We are, from an evolutionary standpoint, deeply confusing. And that confusion is the most important thing about the first encounter. The clearest window into this question comes from animals that have genuinely never encountered humans before. Deep in remote wilderness areas, parts of the Amazon, isolated Pacific islands, untouched Arctic regions, researchers have documented animals encountering humans for the first time. And the reaction is remarkably consistent. They do not run immediately. They stop, they stare, they process. A group of scientists studying birds on a remote island with no history of human contact described birds landing on their boots and shoulders. Not because the birds were tame, because the birds had no category for what a human was. Without a threat category to file humans into, the birds defaulted to curiosity. This is called ecological naivety. An animal that has no evolutionary experience with a particular threat does not automatically fear it. It investigates first. The same pattern appears in large animals. Researchers approaching wild gorilla groups that had never seen humans described the gorillas freezing, staring with intense focus, making short investigative movements toward the humans, and only retreating after extended observation. They were not afraid yet, they were gathering information. And information gathering in animal terms means using every sense available: smell, sound, sight, movement. The animal is building a category in real time, deciding where this strange new creature belongs. Before the animal even sees a human clearly, it smells one. Human scent is, by animal standards, extraordinary. We wear synthetic materials, we eat cooked food, we use soap and products that no natural creature produces. To an animal with a sophisticated nose, a human approaching through a forest is a completely unprecedented chemical event. Wolves, bears, and large cats have been observed stopping dead in their tracks when they first encounter human scent. Not running, stopping, sniffing repeatedly, circling, trying to gather more information about something their nose has never processed before. Then comes the sound. Human voices, footsteps, and equipment produce sounds that do not match any natural template in the animal's experience. The rhythm is wrong, the frequency is unfamiliar. And then finally, the visual. An upright, two-legged creature with forward-facing eyes, the eye position of a predator, but moving with none of the predator behaviors the animal knows. No crouching, no stalking, no clear signs of aggression. The animal's brain is receiving three simultaneous streams of completely unclassifiable information. And the decision it makes in the next few seconds determines whether that first encounter becomes curiosity or catastrophe. Different animals resolve this confusion in very different ways. Prey animals like deer, elk, and antelope tend to freeze first. The freeze response is ancient. If you do not move, many predators lose track of you. A deer freezing before a human is not being brave. It is running its most basic survival program and waiting for more information. If the human then moves directly toward the deer runs. The forward-facing eyes and direct approach finally trigger the predator response. The category is resolved. Human equals threat, exit immediately. But if the human stops, stays still, makes no sudden movements, the freeze can last surprisingly long, minutes in some documented cases. The deer is not comfortable, it is still processing. Large predators respond very differently. A bear encountering a human for the first time is not afraid in the way a deer is afraid. A bear is at or near the top of its local food chain. It does not have a hair-trigger flight response. A bear's first reaction to a human is often intense curiosity mixed with mild irritation. Who is this? What is this? Why does it not behave like any creature I have encountered before? Bears have been documented approaching humans slowly, sniffing the air, making short mock charges not to attack but to provoke a reaction and gather more behavioral information. They are testing the unknown creature to see how it responds. The most fascinating responses come from primates. Chimpanzees and gorillas encountering unknown humans for the first time show something remarkably close to what we would call social assessment. They observe posture. They make eye contact and then look away, then back. They vocalize among themselves almost as if discussing what they are seeing. They are not just categorizing a threat, they are trying to understand a social situation. The first encounter sets everything that follows. If that first human was still, quiet, and non-threatening, the animal files humans under cautious neutral. Worth watching, not worth fleeing. This is the beginning of what eventually, over generations, becomes habituation, the process by which wild animals learn to tolerate human presence. If that first human was loud, aggressive, or caused harm, the animal files humans under threat, and this is where it gets remarkable. Animals can communicate danger to each other. Crows warn other crows about dangerous humans for years. Elephants pass down wariness of humans through generations. A population of animals that was harmed by hunters hundreds of years ago may still carry that caution today, long after any individual who experienced the original harm is gone. The first encounter does not just affect one animal. It becomes part of the collective knowledge of a species. On the other side, animals that have only positive first encounters with humans can become dangerously unafraid. The ecological naivety that made dodo birds approach sailors with curiosity contributed directly to their extinction. Animals that cannot learn to fear humans in dangerous contexts do not survive long in a world full of them. We spend a lot of time thinking about what we think when we encounter wild animals. The awe, the stillness, the sense of something ancient and unhuman looking back at us. But we rarely ask what is happening on the other side of that stare. That wild animal in the moment it first sees you is doing something extraordinary. It is running the most sophisticated survival software evolution ever produced. It is processing smell, sound, movement, and shape simultaneously. It is searching every inherited template it has for a category that fits you. And it is finding nothing. You are to that animal completely unprecedented. Not a predator, not prey, not a competitor, not neutral. Something new. And in a world where almost everything has been categorized for millions of years, being something new is perhaps the strangest thing of all. The deer that stood at the edge of the forest and stared at the first human it ever saw was not being foolish. It was doing exactly what a sophisticated brain does when it encounters something it was never built to understand. It was paying attention. And maybe that is the most honest thing any living creature can do when faced with the unknown. Just stop and look. End of script.